أنشدت بسم الله ثم الحمد له فالله أهل الحمد إن الحمد له يا رب أنت كلما رزقتني رأيت خيرا سابغا لا حد له بك الرجاء.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, everybody can see me. Inshallah, in the next part of Nikah, as Moulana nicely explained, those are the nuts and bolts of Nikah, the technical aspect of Nikah. We need to understand the idea behind Nikah as well. One thing is that you go into a shop, you want to buy a car, you want to buy a phone. And the reason for buying the phone or going is because I want to communicate. That's, plain straightforward. I want to communicate with people and I need to communicate. So that's the bare bones of it. But along with the phone also, you need to buy a pouch, you need to buy a screen protector, you must have a charger, all these other things is not what you're after. It's not what you're after. But it also comes with buying a phone. If you're buying the new iPhone 15, which is basically a C-type charger input, you are willing to pay that money. Also understand that I must have a security guard with me to protect me because why? So there's more to it than just communication. Then I could have bought a tiki-toli phone for 150 rand at Peps, and also have the same function, but this is not it. So looking at the understanding of Nikah, Ali radiallahu anhu, when he was asked, gave this famous quote, and this quote comes in different variations depending on who quotes it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 couplets which he mentions. He says, what is Nikah? Surumu mudahrin, kusuru dhahrin, luzumu mahrin. In some riwayat it says, nuzulu qabrin. He says, Ali radiallahu anhu said, not myself, not the ulama. He says it's happiness for a month. And these days, some people say they are lucky if you're even happy for a month. These days, some people say they are lucky if you're even happy for a month. So 30 days, he says, of happiness. Then he says, humumu daharin, a lifetime of anxiety. Or a long period of anxiety. Why? It's a responsibility. Moulana just mentioned. In Afrikaans we say, trouwens die perdkoop, getting married is, it's not like buying a horse. There is more to it than just getting up and riding. Then kusuru dhahrin, then you have to break your back. You have to work hard. You have to put in the effort into your nikah. It is not just the man that has to break his back and work for the family. It's the responsibility of the wife also to make sure that the responsibilities that she has got and the rights of the husband are looked after, as is his responsibility to see that her rights are looked after as well. Then he mentions luzumu mahrin. It is necessary for a guy to understand that once you start paying, the paying doesn't stop. That is the responsibility we take up as husbands. You start paying and you continue paying. It doesn't stop. And then some mention nuzulu qabrin, that the idea is to some explanation that nikah is still you are finished. And it is the thing that carries also you towards the akhirat. This is the understanding we should try to get from nikah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, example for us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. And this is the shahid of the ayat. وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَكُمْ مُوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala very simply, in one line, explains the whole discussion and understanding of why we are getting married. Find comfort in them. Simple. You need to find comfort in the spouse, the husband that you chose, or the wife that you chose. The husband that you chose, or the wife that you chose. If you don't find comfort in that individual, then the next part, وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَكُمْ, Allah Ta'ala will not make love and affection an outcome of that union. His rahmah, unfortunately, will be removed, which is the opposite of the clear meaning there. If we are individuals that provide comfort to each other, the husband, when he sees his wife, Alhamdulillah, I'm home. When the wife sees the husband, Alhamdulillah, I'm home. When the wife sees the husband, Alhamdulillah, my husband is here. Hand in glove. Hand in glove. This is the idea with which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala approaches nikah, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala automatically, when you are comfortable with someone as well, will show respect and dignity and have mercy and overlook their mistakes and their faults. Because why? You have an affinity with them. You are comfortable with them. And that is the tripartite alliance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in here. This is the moonshot pact, that we hear about in here. This is the moonshot pact, that we hear about. If all three things come together, but they are interdependent. If comfort is not there, mercy and affection won't come. If only affection is there, it's possible mercy and comfort. But the main thing is, as Allah Ta'ala mentions it, comfort is the root and not the comfort. Again, because why? The person that shows you respect and dignity and overlooks your faults and makes you feel nice, automatically you'll love them more and you'll show affection more, and automatically you're more comfortable with them. So the system feeds off the other piece, and nothing can remain left out. So if you want to maintain the comfort, you have to show affection. The affection has to be maintained. And if you want the comfort also to continue, then the mercy and the overlooking, and the as well. Because what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us as human beings as fully functioning individuals. The nuts and bolts are there. Then automatically what happens? We now, from our partners, we can create a partnership. And from our partners, we can create a partnership and create a family from that. When we are comfortable with each other, there's affection, there's rahmah, there's love, and what done Allah Ta'ala grants us that, Ameen. Then a family is produced. And from that family, which shows love and affection and respect and dignity, automatically, as Moulana mentioned now, our society as well will then be more stable and more concretely bound because of the coming together of two individuals with the simple quality, litaskunu ilayha. And then automatically, litaskunu ilayha. And then automatically, as a community, as a society, as humanity, we will fall under the orders and the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how is this done? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made 4 building blocks from all of us. And this married couples, that we don't understand ourselves when it comes to who we are, and then how do we understand the next person. Allah ta'ala made us of 4 parts. We are a soul, a ruh, a body, a mind and heart. These are the 4 pieces, mind and heart. These are the 4 pieces of us. I need to understand me. Then I can somehow understand my wife. Men will never understand women, don't try. But it's a starting point, inshallah. We're not giving answers, we're giving ideas, inshallah. So don't take us to task. No man has understood a woman till now, but we hope to get there. At least we should understand ourselves, inshallah. And no woman has understood a man as well. So don't feel bad, guys. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created these 4 aspects of us. Our ruh, it is the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Automatically, the ruh wants to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's commands and obey. And it feeds on what? On ruhaniyat, on soul food, on obedience, on adhkar, on tilawat. This is the part of us that we need to feed and look after. Every man, every woman, every child It's an aspect that we can't neglect. It's an aspect that we can't neglect. The next is the body. Automatically Allah created the body from the physical world. Afwan. And its connection is to the Afwan. And its connection is to the physical world. So it feeds off material things. That's the need of your body. It's materialistic. And the body wants what? Security. My food must be sorted out. My clothing must be sorted out. These are the basic needs of the physical self. For yourself and your wife, every human being. It's simple. And it has got desires as well. The physical body has got physical desires that Allah Ta'ala put there. Physical body has got physical desires that Allah Ta'ala put there in order to maintain and sustain that body of ours. The next part is our heart. We are emotional beings as well. We are not machines. We have got emotions, felt feelings. It makes oxymoron. Emotions are deep felt feelings. Feelings are very, how you say, oppervlakkig. It's very on the top. Very light, very quickly disturbed. We all know, this morning we woke up, it was raining. We didn't feel like getting out of bed today. I don't feel like doing this, and I don't smack to do that. Those are feelings. I don't smack to go to work. At listening, I don't want to. But if I ask you, are you happy? Do you feel happy? Yes, alhamdulillah, I feel content. I'm happy. Those are your emotions. They are more grounded. Feelings quickly can, if the sun shines this way, then the feelings change. If the wind blows that way, then the feelings change. Those are feelings. And feelings also provide connection. We need to understand that. Simple thing. A baby, and I always explain this, a baby can't talk. A baby can't speak a word. Everybody here was a baby, and most of us will have interacted with a baby. You don't know what to do when it starts going, and it starts going to do and your emotions are lost. Because he ate. The mother's also confused. The child ate. The child is dry. The child has been burped. So what could be the problem? What is the issue? But how does the baby communicate? How does it make connection? But how does the baby communicate? How does it make connection? When the baby is quiet, alhamdulillah, it's fine. When the baby is not quiet, it's not fine. And automatically when that baby is not fine, what do? We put it against our chest, in our hearts, and we try to shake and rub and whatever. It creates connection. So this is that we understand through emotion, we communicate and we connect. And this is the difficult part of emotion. It's not rational all the time. It doesn't have to do with intellect. It just has to do with feelings. They are not always rational characters. They are not always rational characters. Feelings are not always rational. And we need to understand that. And the last part that has been made for us is our intellect, our minds. The ruh is the opposite to the body. And the body is the opposite to the ruh. What emotion we learn? We teach children from small already. Why? So that they can make sense of this world. Because with knowing things, then things make sense. Then they'll understand, listen here, the water doesn't actually come from the tap. The water comes from somewhere else. It's either the green tank or there's a pipe somewhere. Slowly, we start making sense of the world. It's not daddy of the world. It's not daddy bringing the stuff from the boot. We first get it by Spar or ShopRite, and slowly, as your knowledge increases, your sense of the world increases. And this is important because why? If we've got a solid knowledge and sense base, then we hope to be rational human beings, which is necessary. You have to think rationally. 1 + 1 is? You see that I'm worried now. There's no response. It's 2. That's the rational answer. It can't be 3. Because if we've got one body Because if we've got one bottle and another bottle, it's two bottles. The mind sees the world through rational means and in rational ways. And also the mind needs communication of those ideas and thoughts as well. So this is how we are built. A body, a heart, and a mind. We have to understand this. And we are like the four parts of a chair. I'm sitting on a chair now. We are like the four legs of this chair. If one leg is a little bit short, what happens? Can you say it's a bit rotten or wobbly or cracked? Are you comfortable in that chair? You'll never be comfortable in that chair. 24/7, 365, as far as you're in that chair, you're worried about the next move. Because it might be my last. I might be on top of the world now. I might be at the bottom later. Top of the world now. I might be at the bottom later. So this is what we should understand as far as us are concerned. We as individuals, men and women, are made up of these four parts. And if one is deficient, or there is a weakness in our ruhaniyat, there is a weakness in looking after our physical needs, our worldly needs. There is a weakness as far as our emotions are concerned. There is a weakness as far as our mentality is concerned. Because the way you think is the way you talk, is the way you automatically will you be a comfortable chair. If one leg is a bit wobbly. And we see that individuals and persons, they can't be successful. They don't have drive, they don't have emotion, they don't have motivation, they don't have passion, they don't have focus, they don't have a goal, because they have neglected one of these aspects in their lives. And that is causing them difficulty in moving forward in their lives. So if you are gebrekkelijk, if you are handicapped, and your wife also has got handicap, how will the blind lead the blind in the nikah? And this is why we find that marriages have problems, because we haven't understood us, ourselves, and our needs and how we function. So how are we going to understand how my wife functions? No wonder our relationship is dysfunctional. So in order for the happy marriage and the love to grow and taskunu ilayha, it is when we make a sincere, concerted effort to search inside ourselves that my spiritual well-being, am I sincerely looking after it? Do I have a spiritual program? Do I have a timetable for my salah and my tahajjud and my tilawat and my dhikr and my tasbihat and my duties towards Allah? Do we as a family, my wife and I, are we particular about these things? Do we sit together and discuss our material needs and necessities and understand what each one's material needs and necessities are? As Moulana mentioned, the wife in her father's house had a maid and a servant to look after her. Are you able to match that environment? Are you able to match that environment? Then knock at another house. It's as simple as that. And we as a community do not have these discussions. We do not discuss spirituality or nikah with any individual. Very rarely. Very rarely. Yes, I miss the Fajr Salah now and then, especially winter and then someone misses all of them. Do you want that husband? Do you want that wife? These are realities. Do you sit for your adhkar after and your tasbihat after your salawat regularly, or do you miss them out? How important are the duties of Islam in your life? Do we ask her, or do we just look at her pretty smile and her lovely hair and we get confused and diffused and diffused. So we have to have these discussions. Emotionally as well. Our environment that we grow up in, unfortunately, it is very chaotic outside. And it creates turmoil in people's lives. And people walk around with a certain mentality and outlook. Their mindset as far as nikah is concerned is you are my slave and I am your master. Whether it is the wife or the husband, with the mentality that you have now become mine and I will take you, because we have not understood mawadda wa rahmah. Because I have got a deficiency that I need to work on, and I need to patch up that one short leg of mine. And emotionally, we are not emotionally mature. That is living on the ground all the time becomes a means of me packing my bag and moving to my mother's house. Because why? He's morsach. It's a sock on the floor. And your relationship with your husband. What do we want? A clean floor or a happy? What do we want? A clean floor or a happy life with my husband? And how do I get him to see that it's a problem for me? Because in my house we did this, and in his house we did that, and there's conflict of interests. So we need to understand ourselves, our building blocks, and we need to understand our deficiencies in those building blocks in order for us to be happy. Because if I am contented, I am whole, then I can work with a spouse also who is whole. But what if the condition is such, lumping chairs, three-legged chairs, we're bar stools? Then we have to sit with each other, acknowledge it, acknowledge our shortcomings, acknowledge the work that is necessary, and then sit with a program to work on myself, individually, and to work on each other collectively in order to build and bridge the gaps in our nikah. Through that, only inshallah, Allah Ta'ala will grant us a happy, loving marriage. Because it is the work that is necessary. That Ali Radha Anhu mentioned, kusuru dhahrin. That we have to break our backs. And humumu dhahrin. We have to finish our minds in order to make it a success. Your nikah, it is your work, it is your responsibility as the individual. Because if there is no husband, there is no nikah. If there is no wife, as Moulana said, you need two spouses. That takes two to tango. Both parties contract, inshallah. With those few words, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the necessary insight. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the courage in order to take up the responsibilities that we want to face in nikah. And Allah ta'ala make us successful also in this world and akhirah as far as our nikah is concerned. Just a little piece of information. Currently in South Africa, the marriage laws are changing. And we as individuals, men and women, need to understand what the implications are. Inshallah, there are marriage officers that myself and Riyadh are part of a group of marriage officers that were trained recently by the Department of Home Affairs, and we'll try to gain all the information that's necessary with the registration of nikahs, because that is a process as well that our communities needs to be educated on. And then also to facilitate understanding of the statuses and as far as Muslim marriages are concerned in South Africa, inshallah. And I will conclude with akhiru dawah and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Jazakallah khair. We'll have I'm not sure what time is that.
قصر يرجوك يا من لا ترد المسألة والختم بالصلاة دائما على محمد خير نبي أرسله